Are you going through your spiritual awakening and you're feeling quite overwhelmed and maybe even challenged by all that you're feeling, all that you're experiencing, and some of the stuff that you're experiencing may not even make sense? Well, you see, the thing is, when you're going through a spiritual awakening journey, especially if you don't know what's going on or how to best deal with what you're experiencing, it can be very challenging and overwhelming and frustrating and even uncomfortable. However, it is possible for you to really embrace this journey without all that feeling of discomfort that often comes with a spiritual awakening journey. And in this video today, I want to share with you 6 tips on how to best maneuver through your spiritual awakening journey so you can actually embrace it without feeling so overwhelmed and challenged and uncomfortable by it. Because your spiritual awakening journey is the most important, most life-transforming journey that you could ever be on. And I have a feeling that deep down you know that this is what is meant to be, that this is the most important journey that you could ever be on. You know that deep down. Because your soul has come here to awaken. But what makes it so uncomfortable is our ego, our personality fighting that awakening. So I really hope that with the tips I'm about to share with you, it can make your journey of awakening so much easier. And I wish I would have known these things when I first had my awakening, because I too was going through a very, very challenging time as I was awakening. But the more I learned, the more I grew, the more I discovered about myself, and the further I went along on my journey, I realized that a spiritual awakening doesn't have to be challenging. Our personality, our ego is what makes it so challenging. So let me dive into the 6 tips to really help you embrace your spiritual awakening journey rather than feeling really overwhelmed by it. The first tip is be gentle with yourself. Yes, it may sound so simple, but this step alone can make a huge difference, because you want to be gentle with yourself, because you know this is a very important journey, that you know that this is what is meant to happen, that this is what is meant to unfold. So instead of fighting against that, being mad about all the things that you're uncovering or experiencing, or pushing it aside, or being afraid of the things that you're experiencing or that you're uncovering, maybe you are uncovering your gifts and you don't really know what is going on or how to best deal with it. Just be gentle with yourself throughout the process. Know that this is really happening to your highest and greatest good. That yes, even though it is uncomfortable during times, like I said, I'm going to share with you some other tips, that can help you make it through this with more ease. But just be gentle with yourself. That in itself can make a big difference. So don't beat yourself up over, what you're uncovering, what you're experiencing, but really be gentle with yourself. Be more self-loving towards yourself. Now, one thing that really happens when you're going through a spiritual awakening journey is that your nervous system is being activated. Because all these things that are happening, it's causing that inner disconnect. It's causing the fear, the doubt, and all these inner emotions that you may not even know what to do with it or how to deal with it. And all that, it activates your nervous system, which makes it even more uncomfortable. So here for that, I have a video I want to invite you to check out. It's a light language activation to calm down your energetic nervous system, your ascension nervous system, because your ascension, your awakening activates your nervous system whenever something happens that doesn't feel okay. Your nervous system is being activated. So listen to that activation to help you calm down. But in the process, really be gentle with yourself, because now you're having more awareness that yes, spiritual awakenings, they can cause a lot of things. They can cause a lot of uncomfortable experiences, especially because you are going through periods of, they call it darkening of the soul, these periods of purging and shedding and, deep inner healing, which brings me to the second step here. The second tip is, take more time out to go within. Take more time out for that inner contemplation, for that inner healing as well. Here, you may then also want to be on your own more, because when you're around all these different people, you are very distracted, right? But when you take more time to yourself, and you may even feel that desire to be more of a hermit, to kind of be alone, be on your own. And that is absolutely perfect, because the more time you can spend, kind of tuning in, going within, all while being gentle with yourself, right? To uncover what requires healing, what requires releasing, what is coming up to the surface, what is going on, who am I? Tuning in, connecting more with soul, to really get to know yourself on that deep inner level. That is so important, because when you're awakening, the key thing about awakening is you're getting to know your true self again. You're peeling back all the layers to get to the core of who you are. And that's why when you take more time out to be on your own, to not have people around you that could distract you, but take that time out to go within, to sit with yourself, to uncover yourself, to get to know yourself. That makes this spiritual awakening journey a lot easier as well, because then you can always connect with soul, to receive guidance from soul. Like, okay, what is going on? What am I feeling here? What is coming to the surface? What am I here to do? And those type of things. Also, connecting to see what is causing you to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Because one thing that often happens is, if you're on your spiritual awakening journey, you're most likely also an empath or highly intuitive or highly sensitive soul, where you're then also picking up stuff from outside of you. So by you going within and checking in with you and like, okay, is whatever I'm feeling, is this mine or is this someone else's? That can then help you and also determine what, if it's someone else's, you can return to center with loving consciousness attached. If it's yours, well, that then gives you the awareness to do something about it, which is then healing and releasing, reprogramming, things like that. And then the third tip is you want to also educate yourself, because the more you learn about the subject, whether it's about spiritual awakening or energy healing modalities or metaphysical topics or anything like that, that will then also help you, for one, raise in frequency, because all of those spiritual books or even the personal development books, they all hold higher frequency because it was written by someone that is in a higher level frequency. So the books, the courses, whatever you're consuming holds a higher level frequency. If you're reading channeled work, for example, like books that were channeled by the writer, they also hold those light codes. Like if you're reading any of those spiritual books, they also hold those light codes within them that helps you then also, for one, not just learn on a mental level, but also learn from a deep inner level, reconnecting with that part. And also that will help you shift your frequency, you should raise in vibration, and also levels up your consciousness or elevates your consciousness as well. So educating yourself is very, very important, because especially in the beginning, I remember in the beginning when I started, I felt so many different things. I didn't know what was going on. And right in the beginning, I didn't even have a mentor. That didn't come until a little later. And I was so lost. I was so overwhelmed. I found out I was an empath, and I didn't know what that meant. The first time I heard the word empath, I thought it was some kind of illness that I have that I didn't want. And I didn't understand. So I had to educate myself about that. So here too, when you're educating yourself about certain topics and you're learning, you're reading those spiritual or personal development books, that too then can help you really make this a lot easier, this whole spiritual awakening journey. Then the fourth tip, and this is really the most important tip that I can share with you, is to make your inner healing journey a high priority. Because a spiritual awakening journey is all about that inner healing. Because that spiritual awakening, it brings to the forefront all the stuff that you need to heal, whether it is old programming that you gained, through growing up, or it may have been past life things. It could be karma. It could be, wounds that you have gained, like from experience that you've had that were really hurtful and painful in this lifetime. So it's about really healing deeply, maybe even doing inner child healing, shadow work, things like that. Because anytime you're feeling not okay, and you didn't pick up something from some other people from the collective, then it's your stuff that is kind of like knocking on the door trying to get your attention. And if you ignore it, it's just going to knock louder, get even more uncomfortable. And that's really what makes the spiritual awakening journey so uncomfortable, is not doing that inner healing work. Yes, it's not fun. It's not comfortable when you have to dig through your own inner trash, basically, that stuff that you have put aside, you don't want to deal with. Why would you want to go there, right? But the thing is, it's still there. Even if you're ignoring it or pushing it aside, it doesn't go anywhere. It's still there. And it determines your actions, your decisions, who you are, how you're showing up, what you allow into your life, all of those things. Whenever you're trying to do something and you feel held back by doubt and fear and things like that, well, guess what? It's that stuff that you're holding on to that requires healing. And spiritual awakening journeys, they bring up all that stuff. They really shine light on all the stuff, all the, you want to call it trash or, outdated stuff, patterns, limiting beliefs, all of those things that are really not serving you anymore. That's basically the layers that keep you from getting to the core of who you are. So making your inner healing journey a priority is so important, because when something comes up, you can tune in. And that's why this whole being gentle with yourself, this whole tuning in is so important. When you are noticing something's coming up, you can lean into it instead of resisting it and trying to run away from it, trying to push it aside. Embrace it. Look at it from an emotionally detached point of view. Like, okay, this is coming up. This is what I'm feeling. What am I experiencing here? What is at the core of this? Where is this coming from? What can I learn from this? Right? And then whatever you're uncovering, then be gentle with yourself here. Don't judge yourself. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't be critical or anything like that. But then heal and release. Do your work. And by you learning different modalities or learning about different ways of how to uplift your energy and things like that, or you just being part of this channel too, you can also then tap into my library of light language activations to help you heal and release. But you want to make your inner healing journey a high priority. That is really the number one thing that I want to really share with you here, is make that a high priority. Because if you don't, it's only going to make your spiritual awakening journey even harder, because then you're resisting what is coming to the surface. You're resisting the healing, the releasing. You're resisting your path, basically. Because in order to awaken, you got to let go of all the stuff that you have been carrying with you for far too long that is really affecting you negatively. So always embrace what comes up, be grateful for it, and then do your work. Uncover what it is, what is going on beneath the surface, and do something about it. Because with awareness comes the power of choice. And that's the powerful thing. Then the fifth tip here is you want to start a daily meditative practice, because when you meditate daily, or if you can't do daily, at least maybe every 2 days, or do it as often as you can. If you're having a bad day, maybe even meditate twice a day. There has been times when I meditated 3 times because I had a really, really bad day. Because when you meditate, you're basically tuning in. You're connecting with soul, and you're tuning out your ego. You're disconnecting from all the stuff that is going on. All these weird feelings, the things happening in your life, all of it, you're disconnecting from that. So making meditation part of your daily practice, daily routine is so highly beneficial, because that then also, it quiets down your mind and you open yourself up to receiving higher guidance. You're also opening yourself up to connecting with soul. And that is a beautiful, deeply connected state when you're really connecting with soul and you really open yourself up and you're really quieting down your mind. That's blissful. So I make that a priority. I really tune in and make that a priority. And that's what I want to invite you to do as well. Whenever you're having a bad day, whenever what you're experiencing is just so overwhelming and it's really pushing you to almost to the breaking point, take more time out to go within, to do your inner work. It's not about what you're doing outside or anything like that you're actually doing. It's really that inner work that is the most important one when we're talking about the spiritual awakening journey. Now, I have one final tip here, and that can really help you in so many ways and also help you speed up the process of spiritual awakening, which is the sixth tip of working with someone, really getting that help, whether it's you working with a healer, a psychic, a coach, a spiritual coach, or a mentor. Someone that can really help you. Even if it's like taking courses, that can help as well, because then you're learning from another person. Now, I do believe believe that actually working with someone one-on-one or even in a group where you have that personal interaction, that is most beneficial, because then you're getting that personalized support. Because yes, it's great. Even my light language activations, they're great for some general support, but each and every person has their own different set of challenges and blocks and interferences and all of those different things. So not every person is the same. So when you're taking courses, yes, it's great for general support, for learning or whatnot. But on your spiritual awakening journey, there most likely will be some inner child healing that needs to happen, some shadow work that needs to happen, some past life clearing that needs to happen. And you on your own, with the knowledge that you have, you may not be able to do it. Even if you're learning certain modalities, you may not be able to go really deep because you're too close to your own stuff. It's like you don't want to open up Pandora's box on your own, right? So here, when you work with someone, that can really help you. You can receive that support, because an outside person can look in, and especially if you're working with an intuitive mentor, they can really help you uncover, well, what is at the root of this? And then if that mentor then also can do the healing, then you have the double bundle basically, where you can uncover what's at the core, and you can heal it and release it and clear it out. Now here, there are so many people out there that can assist you. Find the one that you really feel most drawn to, that you feel like, okay, you can connect with that person. Let your soul guide you. If you're ready to receive a mentor or work with a mentor or coach or healer or a teacher, then just state that intention, like, I'm open to receiving help. Please bring me the teacher, the mentor, the guide that is to my highest and greatest good. And then the right person will come into your life in whatever way. I mean, you just watching this video could be that maybe you and me are meant to work together. And if you would like to explore that of us working together, I want to invite you to start with a discovery session. Book a call with me where we can talk a little bit more about what's going on for you, what you're experiencing, about your spiritual awakening journey, and we can explore what might be the best step for you moving forward, whether it's working together more long-term or just individual healing sessions or maybe a reading or whatever is to your highest and greatest good. But I would love to, and also would be honored to, assist you on your spiritual awakening journey. So if that is of interest to you, there's a link in the description below where you can request a discovery session where we can, like I said, we can talk a little bit more about what's going on. But working with someone is absolutely beneficial. When I first started with my spiritual awakening journey, I was so lost and I didn't know what was going on until I found my mentor. And let me tell you, I bugged her basically on a weekly basis because I was experiencing so much that I didn't know what to make of it. And I emailed him like, hey, I'm experiencing this. Am I going crazy? She's like, no, it's just a new moon or full moon, Mercury retrograde. You know, you're good. Everything is all right. Right? So it helped me then also not feel like I'm losing my mind because I was experiencing so much. Now, of course, she also helped me then heal deeply, uncover myself. I mean, I would not be where I'm at today if it wouldn't have been for her help in the beginning. So I highly recommend, if you don't have anyone that you can speak to about these things, because especially like on the spiritual awakening journey, your family members, your friends, they may not understand what you're going through. So you being all on your own, you may have a hard time where you really feel lost because you don't have anyone you can ask or get guidance from or just talk about these things. So when you have a mentor, that can really make your journey so much easier, and also can help you speed it up without all that overwhelm and frustration, all of those things. But here are the 6 tips that I want to share with you to really help you maneuver through your spiritual awakening with more grace and more ease, so it doesn't have to be so overwhelming and challenging. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. Maybe leave me a comment below. Let me know, how's your spiritual awakening journey? How are you doing? Are you doing any of those tips that I shared with you? And if not, I really want to invite you, start implementing them. But let me know, how's it going with your spiritual awakening journey? I would love to know. And hey, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I release new content. Maybe even share it with someone that you think could benefit from listening to this. Maybe there's someone in your life or friends that are going through a spiritual awakening too, and they're a little challenged as well. Maybe send them this video so they can get some tips as well. But thank you so much for being here. Now be sure to check out this video here about that calming down your ascension nervous system, the light language activation, to really help you on that level. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.